when you talk about Americans don't have it that bad, you know, slaves, a lot of slaves didn't know they had it that bad either, right? Until they realized
Oh,
that.
that's an. How could you say something like that?
Because I mean that.
As a black person,
And that's
how
what
could you make that
I
point?
actually mean that. I'm not only saying that. I actually mean
You're
that.
trying to compare the living conditions of Americans to what the slaves went through.
No, I am not
You ought
trying.
to be ashamed of yourself. How could you say such a thing?
Let me tell you what I'm saying, and I'm saying no. I'm not ashamed of saying that at all. I am not. In fact, I call the corporate, the people who work for corporation slaves all the time. And let me explain to you. You know, there are several
They're
kinds
not
of slaves.
slaves. Okay, that's insulting what people who went through slavery
let me tell you,
actually had to live through. For you to say something like that is watering down what they had to deal with, sir.
No, not at all. Not
you
at all.
cannot compare the two.
Let me tell you something, okay? Let me tell you something.
Yes, it is. What are you talking about?
Let me finish. Let me finish.
How can you as a black person say something like that?
Let me finish.
Are you insane?
Let me finish. You notice I hadn't raised my voice at you. We're having a discussion, right? Are we having a discussion?
Yeah, because you're not the one that made I'm not the one that made an inflammatory statement like you did, trying to compare Americans today to what slaves had to go through.
Sir, here's the deal, okay? Neither you nor I were ever slaves. Okay? Neither you nor I were ever slaves. So if you are going to take issue with what I'm saying, or if what I'm saying is somehow insulting you, I don't see how that's a possibility, especially since you're from Ethiopia. So that's not a possible. That shouldn't have gotten.
No,
to you
that is a fit because I have people in my family within my parents and grandparents' generations that were slaves, not only in Africa itself, but in the Middle East.
And that's fine.
And there's still slavery going on today all throughout North Africa and the Middle East.
Look.
And I know people personally who were enslaved in Saudi Arabia, and I know what they went through. So you're trying to make it up to be that working a job, working a 9 to 5, to equate that to slavery is an insult to actual slaves who suffer things that are unimaginable.
And let me tell you, that is your call if that is how you want to look at it. I have a definition of the way I am using the word slavery as far as slavery to the corporation, okay? And it's okay for you to be upset about that. It's a free country, and you can decide to be upset about that. I am not, because as far as I'm concerned, in this new world, what I call it is the new slavery. And it doesn't matter if,
the new slavery. Are people getting whipped? Are they getting cut? Are they getting acid poured on them? What are you talking about, man? Do you have it? Just for a second, think about what slaves actually went through. How slaves lived,
sir.
Like when slaves that were married, they had to sit there as their wife is getting raped by the master. For you to say things like that, it's watering down the experience that slaves went through, and to try to compare it today.
No.
If you're making the point that people are working a certain amount and they're not making enough, and you want to compare that to slave-like conditions, that's one thing. But to equate the two is it's an insult to what those people went through, man. And as a black person, you should know better, because you should know firsthand and have an understanding of how the slaves actually had to live and what was done to them.
Sir, again, you chose, my friend, and we're going over a little bit, and because I'm enjoying the discourse here, but you chose not to accept the nuance that I'm using these words with, and you chose as well to take it as a pejorative as far as towards the people who actually went through real slavery, the type of slavery that we had before. That is your choice to do, and that is a free country to do.
You're doing the very thing I proved that I said earlier, which is, as a leftist, you consistently make things out worse than they really are. And you just proved it by trying to compare Americans today as if they're living under slavery or slave-like conditions is a perfect example of making things out worse than it really is.
You see, one of the problems
that is unbelievable.
One of the problems that we have in discourse, right? One of the problems we have in discourse is as opposed to trying to find understanding between people speaking, what we get is I'm trying to make a point and you're trying to speak over the point that I'm trying to make. Not once did I try to interrupt you. Okay, what I'm trying to tell you is simple, my friend, and it's very, very simple. In today's world, we had the slavery of the past, and we all know what that is. And I'm not trying to equate what we're going through as far as the slavery that we have to the corporation right now as the same. But what I am telling you is by the way things are right now, people are enslaved by the corporation, and not only are they enslaved by the corporation, they are enslaved by capitalism, and I think I've done a pretty darn good job of proving that. Where you are correct, and I agree with you 100%, because things are not bad enough. Because people have been trained that this is how or the best that things are going to be, they accept it. You are right about that. My thing is, how do I have to try to break through to people to say we cannot afford our intellect and our labor to be taken advantage of by the capitalists.